Alright, let me just ping some people to let them know that it's going down, and I'll get started on the guide. Alright. Okay, hopefully everything is set up properly. Okay. So hello everyone, welcome. If you don't know who I am, my name is Gold. I played this game for a couple of years now. Played it back in 1.1 over the Parsec days, and then continued to play it when the re-release came out in 2022. I've entered events online in real life for this game. I liked playing it at the time. Now, not so much, but that's okay. I want to make this video to give a stepping stone for Ken players. If people are interested, you know, maybe one day Jam will watch this video because he wanted to play Ken. Never touched it though, but that's okay. But this is there for the people that want to know. It's going to be a video format. I don't want to edit the whole thing. That takes a long time. Maybe I can try to timestamp these things if I can edit that, so you can organize what part you want to go into. But the way this video is going to work is I'm going to break down each section, so like neutral, pressure, oki, defense, into 4 levels. So this is what I want you to see. I want to see you doing as a beginner, and then moving up to more like an advanced level. So this is what I want you to know with Ken&Koro, right? With this duo. Because this character is very good, and you gotta know your stuff if you want to abuse him. Alright. And with that being said, so let me just grab some music now. I'll mainly be playing some Persona and Me More Bits, and I hopefully don't want an ad, man. Okay. So, first things first is neutral, right? So, normally in most fighting games, you're just fighting a 1v1, right? In this case, you got Koromar on your side. Koromar is going to be doing all your dirty work. So what makes Koromar and Ken extremely broken is that instead of Ken having to hit the opponent normally and getting a combo and such, Koromar can do the job for him. So that means anytime the opponent makes a commitment, whether that's Narukami throwing a Zio full screen like this, right? Oops. Right, so Narukami throwing it like that. 2C. Even though it didn't hit, it still blocked the projectile. So Koromar is always going to be doing something. This makes him very oppressive against most characters in the game. So not many characters have something to deal with him. Characters that do mostly have like even matches, but characters that don't heavily struggle. So if your character cannot deal with Koromar alone, then the matchup is already skewed in his favor. So one thing that I feel like most beginner Ken players should be abusing is literally just spamming 2C. This move is extremely broken and got nerfed from the previous one. Originally, so when Koromar does that little flip you know, he gets like barely any recovery frames. They made it so that when he blocks, when an opponent blocks that now, he actually does a little flip, so there's more delay. In 1.1, he did not have that. But it doesn't matter in this game. Why? Because you can still control Ken. You throw out that 2C, they block it. Okay, whatever. I'm just going to press 5B or literally any one of my other moves. So you press 2C, jump in. You're getting your high mix. You jump in. Oh, they're going to respect you 2A. So the goal of your game playing with Ken&Koro in neutral as a beginner should literally just be send out Koromaru, let him hit the dog, let him hit the opponent. If they block, you're gonna use Ken to hit him with another button to keep up the string. Okay. So with Koromaru, he has these are the two moves that I want you to really use the most when you're first starting out. So it's 2C. The way you do it is you're gonna be holding down 2. And it's not the press of a button, but it's when you release it. So they changed it in this version. So it's negative edge. So when you hold, I'm holding down 2C right now, not coming up. But when I let go of it, then he attacks. The same also applies for 5C. So holding 5C, you can see it on the bottom right that I pressed it, let go, then he attacked. So let me explain the use cases for them. So the one you want to be spamming the most is 2C, this move right here. Got some delay to it, but that's okay. This move is extremely strong. If people are jumping in the air, you can send the dog. It'll go right under them, hit them. And then if you're close enough, you can actually get a combo from it. Okay? Now for 5C, that's only if people are running at you. This is just a broken not even a projectile, because it's a strike attribute. This is just a good move to stop people if they're going to run at you like this. So if you see someone running towards you, just back up. Just back up and send the dog at him like that. Another annoying attributes too is like if you're jumping in the air, right? Koromaru is gonna be hidden. So like if Ken's like all the way launched up in the air, Koromaru is gonna be attacking them from the ground as well. So 2C and 5C make this character extremely good. Koromaru himself is really good too. The only thing that you do have to manage and keep an eye on is that Koromaru does have a health bar on the bottom left here, as you can see. So they can't hit him, and he can be knocked out. And I think it's about 20 or 25 seconds around that ballpark where you can't use him again, right? So, with that being said, just to quickly review, you are just spamming 5C and 2C in neutral. You are forcing the opponent to block. Once they block, you go in with Ken and then you start your pressure. Okay, I'm going to go into what to do for pressure first, but neutral is always important because like you got to learn how to actually get in before you start doing your pressure, Oki, combos, etc. You can learn all the combos you want, but if you don't know what the hell you're doing in neutral, you're never going to get to use them. Okay? Alright, let me double check something. Okay. Alright, so that is what I want beginner Kens to be doing. The level 2 that I want to be seeing is abusing Ken normals now. So these two are obviously a team. You want to do their stuff together. So if you're full screen now, this is what I want to see like intermediate Ken players do. This further on. So say you send your dog out like this, right? They block the move, and then Narukami attacks it. So I'll show you what I mean. So from over here, whoops, I didn't do that right. Give me 1 sec. You know, fix something. Okay, there we go. Okay, sorry about that. So I send Koromaru to do 2C, right? Let me do this closer. See how Koromaru is gonna get hit now, right? They're gonna attack him, right? I just wanted you to pretend this is full screen. I'm just doing this because it's easier. But anytime they're gonna combo the dog after blocking it, you can do this full screen. So send the dog out, tries to punish it, I can just do 2 through 6B to fully punish them on that. That is one way you can do it. And if you're closer, you can just press 5B. Whatever is easier for you, right? But just be wary that if you do 2C, don't leave too much of a gap, otherwise they're just gonna punish you if you're not spaced out far enough, right? So you're gonna have to be a little bit tighter if it's closer to you. So you can just press 5B, that's the safest one. You can press sweep if you think they're gonna go for a body attribute move to low profile some things, but it is very situational, and I only recommend it if you know what you're doing, okay? So that is what I want intermediate Kens to know. Just to learn how to cover your dog, right? Just pretend it like it's your own dog, right? You want to protect them as much as possible. So that is what I want people to learn. Why is my game? There we go. Okay. So number 1 was spamming your dog and abusing broken Ken normals, okay? Number 2, covering your dog. So even just doing like this, 2C, setting him out and going along with the dog, right? Because now you have to worry about someone coming from the ground and in the air, right? Saying Koromaru out, now you got to deal with Ken. This button, JB, is extremely oppressive to use in neutral. This covers a lot of options, right? This is debatably one of the best JBs in the game. Why? Because it controls a lot of space. It's not that bad for a startup, and it's a high, right? So it's pretty good in all attributes. Alright. Now, so gone over protecting the dog using like 2 through 6B or 5B to cover the options, right? Level 3 now is what I want you to do, is pressing 5D to cover the dog. So I just pressed 5D and I held it. They changed it in this game, so you have to hold it down. If I do a regular tap, he just does a flip like that, but he's invul. So when you see Koromaru blacked out on the bottom left, he's invul for that, okay? But if I hold it, he disappears. Now he's off the screen. Can't use it. But if I press 5C, he homes in on the opponent and hits him like that from the sky. It's very strong, and it's a good way to interrupt pressure. It's just like his normal 5C. If you see people running at you, even an air dash like this, it's going to cover the option, right? And if I just press 5D instead, he's just going to hop back right here. It's much faster if you need him immediately. Alright? So you can also do that. So there can be times where you're separated from your dog because they did a combo, they pushed you all the way far away. And now Koromaru is trying to catch up with you like this, right? If Koromaru is in a bad situation, it is best just to get him the hell out of there. It's better just to get Koromaru out, keep his health bar up, because if Koromaru's health is damaged, let me see if I can change it. Okay. Let me see if I can do this. Okay, you see how Koromaru's health bar is down on the bottom left here? So if I press and hold 5D, he's going to slightly heal his gauge. Okay? So it's going to restore it back. That is one way of protecting your dog. There's other ways like healing. If they're not going to commit, if they're not going to try to attack you, just heal. Just heal and let Koromaru attack them as well. So you can always do that. But taking the dog out is very important to keeping Koromaru healthy, and so you can keep up your pressure. Because like he regens it fast. Like if most of the time if you're playing it right, Koromaru shouldn't be dying at all. Unless it's like some specific hard matchups, okay? But that's it. But most of the time he should not be dying. You should not be letting Koromaru die to just players killing him. You always gotta cover him. That's the way this character works. Okay? Okay, now for the level 4, I cannot come up with something specific. It's really just learning the ins and outs of matchups, and it's really just best by playing the game. Like, I did not know every matchup in the game when I first started. You have to just play them. It's very difficult to understand that. There's many like nuanced approaches that you got to take for each character in the game. Like when I give my level 1 of just spamming JB and 2C, right? That works for like the mid tiers and under. Actually some of the high tiers as well. Like you can bully most of the characters just with this. Like that's how oppressive this character is. He's brain dead to some extent too. But when it comes to like the top tiers, you actually have to think to some extent. And it's just understanding those. And I can't really explain for every character. I'm not going to do that. It's more just like, if you got a question, you can ask me or any of the other Kens how to approach a matchup. So that would be my level 4 for learning matchup specific tech. So quickly, to review, neutral. Your level 1, spamming JB and dog normals, okay? That is how you're going to get around most matchups. Okay? Not many characters can anti-air this move. This is broken. And don't make it like very approachable. Don't be sitting here, I don't know what to do. I'm not going to send out the dog. Let me just JB. This is to, remember, JB is to control airspace, okay? And if you want like a good solid jump in, that's like very hard to anti-air. You want to actually mix people, you use JA. Okay, we'll go over that in Oki and pressure. JA, actually we can discuss anti-airs now. For neutral, because it is very important. So, Ken has a very slow anti-air being his 2B, right? It is very slow, but it can be hit from behind. So it does have some niche uses if you know what you're doing. So it can be good for like cross-ups if they're trying to do that. But overall, it's pretty slow. You do not want to be doing that. So, what do I do if Narukami runs in, jumps in J2Bs, right? Oh no, like it's a very slow move I'm trying to react to. It's a very slow startup, so you're not going to be able to do it. So, what are my options? Your best option is JA. If I can get it right. But even still, like, it's very difficult to approach air normals in this game, right? You have to know they're actually going to do it. And JA would be your best bet. Like, 2B is too slow. If like it's already here, don't commit to it. You're going to use JA if you know it's coming, right? Like, this is a fast move. And all these hits are overheads. This is a very strong move, okay? Your second option. Dude, get out of that situation. Like, just don't be in there. You do not want to be in that range where you're like, they can abuse their air normals, right? And that's where it can struggle, right? Hey, anyone like Persona has very big air normals, so you can get overwhelmed by that. So it's important to know and keep your range, right? Ken really thrives in mid range because this is probably like the best 5B in the game. It's not that slow, but it also has like some of the longest range contesting some Persona moves. It's faster than most 5Cs in the game. So if people want to 5C you, just press 5B and you beat them out. And then most 5Bs don't even reach you, so you can press 5B to counter poke them. So this move is really good to press. Okay. Anyway, back to anti-airs. So JA, if you know it's coming. If not, get out of that situation. Just take space. Roll if you have to. Just be wary that roll doesn't always make you 100% safe. You might still have to block. Okay? So, anti-airing. Let's go over what other buttons you want to be pressing in neutral, right? So like I said, JB, 5B are your main ones. If you want to start some strings, 5A into like 5B work. 2A is a really good starter for your strings. You can just link it in 2B and then 5B and then go into your special moves, and then you want to combo them into dog. Those are your basics, right? So that concludes neutral for Ken, right? Alright. Let's quickly go over some round start options you can do, okay? Ken has arguably one of the some of the best round start options in the game. The only characters that I'm actually afraid round start is Margaret and Yukari. Margaret can actually has faster buttons than me that move her towards Ken, then I can't really press 5B or other moves on, and Koromaru is too far and too slow to actually work with that. But every other character like that and Yukari. Mainly because Yukari can just back up, throw arrows, and kill me right away. But most of the time, besides those two characters, most of the time, you can literally get away with mashing 5B on round start, and little to no characters can contest that if they unless they back up immediately. And if they back up, you know what you're gonna press at the same time? 2C. If they back up, 2C is gonna make them block. If they try to fight you round start, 5B is gonna catch them. It is an extremely broken round start option. Another good round start option you can do is 5C JA. If they stay on the ground, they're going to have to block Koromaru or get hit. If they jump, they're going to get caught by Ken. Okay? So those are two really good round start options. If you are losing somehow in round start, honestly, it is not that bad just to jump back and 2C. It is non-committal. Koromaru does literally everything for you. He pays your taxes, bro. He walks himself, feeds himself. He does everything. He feeds Ken, bro. This dog does everything for him. So, that's why. Alright. Let's go over to pressure. Alright. For pressure, the main thing I think beginners should learn with Ken is learning how to cover his gaps, right? So, where does Ken have gaps? Okay. Anytime Ken goes from a normal move, whether that's 5B, right? So let's say we're just doing 2A. This is a true string right there, right? But if I set it to only first hit, and I do sweep if I'm close enough, there was a gap there. So any of his normals that go into sweep, or even this move, the spear pull in 236A or B, there is a gap. So what can characters do against that, right? I'll show you. Actually, I have to make Ken record it. Oops. Basically, characters can roll it. If they roll the sweep, you're still plus, so you can punish them. If they roll this move, though, they can punish you. So here is where my first point comes in. You got to learn how to use Koro to cover your gaps, right? That can be to do this, okay? That is a true string. So when you press 5B, you press 5C immediately after, and then you do the 236B spear pulling, okay? So I'll show it for you one more time. So there's no gaps there. And specifically after doing this pull-in, you're actually plus, like 1 or 2. And since you're like a safe distance, you can actually just press 5A and continue to the string all over again. You just have to be mindful that Koromaru is in his recovery straight. So look, I'll show you what I mean. So Koromaru is going to take some time, and you're going to be a little bit further out, right? That is one of the main things I want you to learn. Just learn how to use Koromaru to cover your gaps. So that's one example. I'll show you another one. You can do... It was 2A, 2B, 2C, sweep. But there you go. You can do that. Now we have to watch out for double low, because the first hit of 2B is extra low. Make sure you actually let the both hits of 2B go. And you buffer the 2C a little bit earlier, because Koromaru has to run up with you as well. So just do note that. You can do something like this too. You can do like 2A, 2B, 5C, and then sweep. You can do that. But this is the problem, right? They're now further away from you, so they can get out of your pressure easily. So it's not that bad to like use these moves, right? It's not bad. The only time you gotta watch out is when they're actually punishing you for it. If they're not gonna punish you for this shit, like, just keep doing it, bro. Like, Like, if it's not broke, why? If it's not broken, why fix it, right? But just be wary that sweep, anything into sweep has a gap. Anything into your pull-ins have a gap. Okay, just watch out for that. And you can use Koromaru 5C or 2C to cover your gaps. Just be free flow with it. Practice in the training room what you want to do. And have a game plan, okay? So, that's how to using Koromaru to cover your gaps. Level 2 for like intermediate players. You gotta learn how to punish just basic defensive options, right? So as I mentioned before, if I do this, the opponent can roll, okay? And they can punish you. If Koromaru is not in a recovery frame, you can just press 5C. Doesn't matter if Ken's in the image, you can just press this, okay? You can just do that. So I'll show you what I mean, if I can time it right. I have to change characters though, so I can record it. So the three main punishes I want you to learn how to do is punishing rolls, DPs, and supers, right? So let me do this. I did a little bit too slow there. Hard to time it because I'm not actually doing it on a real person. Even then, like forcing them to block even after the roll is good. Obviously my timing can't be perfect here because I'm not actually seeing them roll. I'm doing it on a blocking opponent. But you get the point, okay? So that's how you would punish rolls. And if they were to roll like this sweep, you're still plus. So I'll show you what I mean. I'm gonna mash 2A. Get counter right there. So they can't roll sweep. Okay. Now, how do I punish DPs? Oh no, DPs are so broken. I just press this button. Okay. So, if there's a gap, they can DP if they're close enough, right? If they have like a very long horizontal hitbox, some characters can hit you out like this. This characters like Adachi, pretty sure Liz might be able to reach depending on the characters. Hello, Straw. Let's see what other Naoto can hit you from there. Ikari can hit you from there. Labrys and Shadow Labrys can. Okay, let's see. Who else? Those are the main offenders that I know. Kanji's DP is very infuriating. You gotta learn how to deal with. Okay. So accounting for that, let me go on Adachi. I'll show you what I mean. Actually, I should have done it the other way around. Let me change it, my bad. Let me change it. And I will show you guys how to deal with DPs and your pressure. Okay. So I'm gonna record Ken doing the combo. Oh no. Okay. Oh no, Adachi can reach. What do I do? Don't do the move. Okay? Just don't do it. you can easily just not commit to doing the 236A if they're gonna keep mashing DP on you. Know why? You can just do this. Oops. Change the recording. You can just set Koromaru to attack right after you were. That was a true string. I cannot match DP now. Okay? So you don't always need a flowchart into sweep or your pull-in moves with Ken. Just let the dog do the work. Press 5C or 2C right after you press your B normal. That way it'll cover it. And if they block, well, you can just do this right afterward. And then you can do your pull-in if you want. Okay? If you want to keep up your pressure, if they're actually going to respect you. Okay? Or you can just restart pressure with 2A, 5A, etc. Does that make sense? I hope it does. Okay. So you can just do this. Oops. And you just keep pressing buttons because Ken has like so much range, so it doesn't matter. And then you keep up your pressure. So that is how you deal with DPs. Okay, we covered rolls, covered DPs. Okay, how do I deal with supers? Some of these are like full screen. How do I deal with that? Well, it's the same thing similar to DPs, right? Just keep your plus frames and don't leave gaps if you assume they're gonna super. If they got meter on the deck, that she's got 100 meter. Oh no, like. Let me see if I can do it. Oh, I whipped it. Whoops. Which one is this? Oh, it's this one. Atom Smasher. Oh no, I got hit. You have to be very mindful when you go into gaps with Ken, because if they know the gaps, if they're a good player and actually play against this character a lot and know it, you can't just throw these out willy-nilly and expect to get results. Sometimes you can if you condition them. Okay, that's only if you condition them. But do not throw out your spear pulls and sweeps willy-nilly unless you got Koromaru covering you to make it a true stream. What makes Koromaru and Ken threatening is they can just do safe shit and don't get punished for it. Now, for some DPs, you can actually space out the DPs for some horizontal and some vertical ones, right? So if I do this string, it's actually not Richadachi. It actually spaces it out so he can't punish it afterward. But let me see it out. Oh, it barely reaches. For most vertical DPs in the game, it actually whiffs. So some characters will have to do a micro dash if they actually want to punish you, which is very hard to do. But for characters like that have vertical DPs like Narukami, Minazuki, Mitsuru, I'll show you what I mean. You can just do this basic string and it'll make them whiff unless they IB, because if they IB, they'll be closer. But if they're just blocking, it'll whiff, and I'll show you what I mean. Okay. So that basic string of just 2A, 2B, 5B, and sweep. Oh no, my Narukami whiffed. And now he cannot super, and you get a fat punish from that. Okay? So you can also do that one against specific vertical DPs, so that works. Okay? Now, supers, like I said before, just keep yourself plus. The only time you gotta gamble is if they block the move, you're gonna have to start gambling. This is Persona. This is the equivalent of DPRC. Well, not the equivalent, but like how they implemented it, right? Honestly, I'm not gonna tell you what you gotta do against each character, but can be mind games to some extent. The best I can say is just get away from whatever super they're gonna pop out. Use Koromaru, get behind them if you can, but that's about it. Or you can even super back at them if you know what you're doing. But most of the time, the best time you want to do it is get behind them, because not many characters have supers that can just hit like full screen or behind them. So you can, that's your best. Okay, so if I got another Kami here, let me see actually. Let me see, just do that. Get behind them and then punish him with 2B or 5B. Okay, that is your go-to. Can't really like visualize it too much because I'd have to keep changing it, but you get what I mean. All right. So that is how to cover roll, DP, and supers. Okay. If you want longer strings, you can do stuff like this. If they're respecting your pressure, just do the 236A. It does not hurt. Like, you're gonna get insane value off of it too. So you can do stuff like this, 236A, and then 5C if they want to try to punish you. So you can use Koromaru to punish the opponent for trying to think they can get out, because Koromaru and Ken pressure is very threatening too. And if they don't have many options to deal with it, if they don't have the horizontal DP or super to catch you, then you can just kind of do this stuff for free. You can do a follow-up, Koromaru to tag them if they try to jump. They try to roll and Ken catches them. I want plus frames. You very free flow with this character. You don't really need to even use these moves too often. Like your special moves for Koromaru, these are mainly just for your Oki. You're not using them too much for pressure strings. It's really just, you're just using your 5C and your 2C. They're easier to do. And they got a lot of plus frames, so why not do them, right? Alright. Now, for like higher level Ken, and I honestly I feel like every Ken should learn this from the start, but I would be lying to say if I did at the start. I did not learn how to do this when I first started playing Ken. I never knew about it until actually Where to Rest brought it up to my attention, okay? So, Ken 2A, this move right here is really good. This used to be plus in 1.1, now it's like minus 1 or 2. Still really good, okay? Not many characters can punish it. I'm pretty sure the only, I think it's like 5 framers or 6 framers can punish it. But that's still, not a lot of the cast has a 5 framer. Like, if they do, they're pretty lucky and they're a good character for the most part, besides like Chie and Junpei, right? But still, Ken 2A is really good. Here is why. Let me explain. So, Ken 2A, you press 2A. Okay. They're blocking it. If they're mashing DP, you do 1-2A, you block. Or, if you don't want to press 2A again, I'm going to press 2A and then 2C. So now it covers it again. And this is what happens. If I press 2A and 2C, I'm going to do another 2A. It just constantly loops. It's a guessing game for the opponent. It's very risky for what they do. They can either DP to get out, and then you just, maybe they start pressure or reset neutral, right? But it is heavily skewed in Ken's favor, mainly because he has a dog to cover his weaknesses, okay? Alright. So that's not all, right? You do your 2A. Say they try to mash, right? Like I said, you could have used 2C to catch them. But if you want a bigger punish, you do 2A, delay, 2B. This will also catch them trying to jump. This will catch them trying to mash. This will catch them trying to roll if you time it properly, because it doesn't, roll doesn't have invol, right, or strike invol until like frame 4. So you do that if they want to mash, like, or jump, right? Or if they want to fuzzy jump. I'll cover that in a bit. But yeah. So you can do, if they try to mash, oops, 2A, delay, 2B. It'll leave just enough of a gap. If they DP, they hit you, that's whatever, you can live, okay? Now you know that for next time that they're gonna mash DP on you, you'll know for next time to actually bait it out and use Koromaru instead, okay? Now let's say, oh no, they keep blocking. Even my like delay 2B, what do I do? Drill them. So going into this game, a lot of characters, Arc System Works said, I don't like meterless conversions off a throw. That is broken. And they tried to get rid of that for Ken. They failed. It's still possible. So you get a combo off mid-screen and in the corner. So Ken still gets a combo. It's a little bit tight, but you can still do it. That was huge damage, and that was awakening health too. Still, Ken gets really good damage off his throw. Plus, he gets insane meter from it. He gets insane meter from his combos. So Ken throw is extremely threatening, right? If they're gonna keep blocking your stuff and actually respecting you, just throw them. That is the level 3 for like high level stuff that I want to see in Kens. Now the level 4, this is like stuff that I do all the time. Okay. Oh no, they're teching my throws. They're teching it. So this is what you do instead. Remember how I said if you want to catch people mashing, you can just do delay 2B. You can just do that too. You do 2A, run up. They're going to assume, oh, he's going to throw me again. Mash 2B. They get counter hit. Or you can do this. Do 2A, jump back JB. And you may think, okay, but like I don't get a combo off that. That's where you're wrong. You do this. You do 2A, jump. Whoops. 2C, and then you get a pickup off from it. So, let me see. I'll show you an example combo. Oops. Oops. Why am I not getting my JB? Oh, it's not doing that. You get the picture. Oops. You get your combo off that. So throw baiting is very integral to Ken if you really want to master this character, okay? But first, you cannot start throw baiting people unless you condition the throw. You gotta make people actually scared of taking the throw. There's a lot of reasons why in Street Fighter and every like other games, people would just say, I'd rather take the throw than the punish. Because getting counter hit by JB into a full ass combo, like you're gonna get more damage than you would have from just the throw. So in that situation, this is what I mean when like defending against Ken is like so terrifying for the opponent. Because yeah, you can gamble on the DP, but what if you whiff and you eat like a counter hit 2B, like you're dead. So it's very difficult. And those are the 4 steps on how I want like Kens to conduct their pressure, right? If you can like start implementing 2A stagger into your game plan like as soon as possible, I think that's very important for Kens to learn. But it can be very scary because you gotta understand the game. You gotta understand how to read your opponent, right? You gotta understand if they're mashing, okay, I'm gonna actually start doing 2B. If they're gonna DP, I gotta start blocking. How do I want to commit to this? And how do I want to deal with DP super, right? Because Ken deals with DP supers differently because they can hit the dog and then cancel from there, right? They don't need to hit Ken. They can just hit the dog and from their DP and then super. So you have to be wary of that. But those are my 4 pressure tips that I think Ken should learn. Just to review: learning how to use core to cover your gaps and basic strings, which includes sweep or your pull-ins. Level 2 is how to punish basic defensive options with roll, DP, supers. Level 3 is just learning stagger pressure and throw pressure. And level 4 is how to throw bait them. Okay. Now that we got neutral out of the way, your round start options and pressure, Okay, we hit the opponent. We got a combo going on. Okay, what am I gonna do for Oki? I am not gonna tell you combos. I'm gonna assume you know how to read and lab the combos. Okay, I'm just gonna assume that. But I'm going to also assume that you do your ender as 236 B. Okay, so let me just do a combo real quick. 236B under. Oh, fuck. Okay. So you're ending that combo. Okay, what do I do from there? What are my options? So, let me explain. So, your main tool for Oki is going to be 236D. So, this dog spin on the ground. Okay. And I want you to notice something that'll make it clear. Okay. So, I want to look at how many hits Koromaru is doing. So, that was 7 hits that Koromaru did, right? Now, if I were to back up and do it from here, only 5 hits. So, I was 2 hits shy. You want the most amount of hits possible when Koromaru is making the opponent block on your Oki. That way you get more plus frames and more mix options, okay? So you want to make sure that you delay the 236D so that you get all hits of your Oki. So I'll show you what I mean here. Oops. Okay. Okay. Messed it up actually. Hold on. So there, right there, I did it too slow. Or I did it too fast on the Oki. So I didn't get all the hits properly. He whiffed some before he made the opponent block. And it wasn't a true block string. So normally on Ken&Koro, you can actually do empty jump low, bait the DP, and still get the hit off. So the way it works is you want Koromaru to hit the opponent first, and then Ken to mix them. So I'll show you again if I can do it right. It's weird. Why didn't I get it there? I'm not doing it fast enough, I guess. There, right there. So you see how I jumped back and then Koromaru hit him first and he was blocking. So since I am jumping and blocking up in the midair and then going for the 2A, I actually bait all DPs in this game because I'm blocking. Because I don't have to meaty him. Koromaru does that for me, okay? And if I were to mash DP, I'll show you what happens. If I were to mash DP immediately as soon as I tech, this is what's gonna happen. Ken is blocking and it's a safe jump, okay? And I cannot DP after the 2A. Well, I can if he doesn't continue the string. But Ken can just get free mix off of that. You can just safe jump you. You can just do JA instead of 2A if he wants to. The only time it's different is if you do JA, right? This is the hard part, and I'm saying this is like what beginners should learn. It can be like a little complex to understand and tight to time. But once you get it down, dude, this is like atrocious. Can like mix and vortex, you just get warped in. So I'll review it again. When Koromaru is running back, then you do the 236D. That way you get all the hits on it. I didn't know that for 2 years until Ed told me about it. I usually just manually timed it, but when the Koromaru is running back towards you, that's when you input the 236D. True string right there. Can't do much. It's safe strings too. So, that is how you do Kanoki, okay? So you end in 236B, you end in your spear pull, you wait for Koromaru, you wait a little bit for Koromaru to start running back, then you input 236D. When you input it, the move, you jump back, hold back in case they DP, let Koromaru hit them first, and then you mix them, okay? So you can do either a JA or a 2A. Most of the time, you're going to do a 2A if you want to open up the opponent, right? Empty jump low is broken. That's like the best mix Ken has. That's how it leads to Vortex in his Oki, right? And if you were to mix up your options, right? Here is the second thing I want to go over for intermediate players. So you're doing your safe jump, your 2A, they're blocking it. Oh no, what do I do? You do this. You jump back, instant air dash, JA. That was a true string, by the way. So as soon as Koromaru started making them block, the JA was true. The only thing you have to know is if you do an instant air dash JA, they can DP it if you're not like really high off the ground. If you do a low air dash, which is like what people typically do to open people up with an overhead, it's not going to be a true string, right? Because it's going to be too much time, not enough plus frames, right? So let me see if I did here. I'm going to be mashing DP on wake up. Yep, so I went for the air dash and I got DP'd immediately. So that is one thing you just have to note if you're going to do instant air dash mix up. But if they've already been blocking your safe jumps and such, they're going to be conditioned to already block it. So if they're going to be blocking your other stuff and you pull up the instant air dash just to open them up, that's one way of just mixing up your options. That's one way to do it, right? But let's just say like they're really good at blocking somehow, right? What do we learn from pressure? You just throw them. Instead of doing a 2A, you're just going to do a throw right afterward. They're going to have to hold it. If they tech it, you know, it won't look too good. They might be a god at defense, but no one is perfect at defense. Like, you are going to open someone up with this character one way or not. They're not going to block every single instant air dash, empty jump low, and throw. No one's that perfect. And once you do start doing that, like, you might as well just throw bait at that point. But not in your Oki, you don't need to do that. Alright. So, okay, so number 2, level 2 is how to mix up your options. Level 3 is learning to read your opponent, right? So as I mentioned before, you got to analyze their habits. Dude, you can get away with just doing empty jump low in a vortex and people will still get opened up by it because they'll be conditioned to block high because of a safe jump. Because most safe jumps in the game, you have to block an overhead first and then you block into a low, right? With Ken, you can just go straight into a low. It does not matter. So, and there's like no commitment on Ken either way because Koromaru is doing the work for him. So I have won games just from simply doing, why is my music not playing? Hold on. I've won games simply just from doing empty jump low on my Oki, and it just works. It is really good, and you should use it when you first start out. Okay, but it's important to analyze your opponent's blocking habits, and honestly, like as I mentioned before, if they're not blocking your lows, man, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Keep doing it until they learn. And then when they start doing it, that's when you actually play the mind games on whether you're going to go for an instant air dash, a throw, or an empty jump 2A, you know? So just mix up your options, but only do it if like you actually see the opponent adapt to it, right? You can mix it up there, here and there, right? But you actually gotta get in the head of your opponent on how they're thinking. What are they gonna do here? Are they gonna DP? Are they gonna mash roll? They can't mash roll against this Oki, by the way. It's that safe. They can't they can't mash super either, where it's still safe jump. Overall, just really good. That leads me to level 4, conditioning your opponent so you can do more bullshit. So, I'm going to ingrain you with doing this Oki. Okay? Every low level to high level Ken should be doing this Oki. Just this Oki. If I see someone do this Oki from 1.1, no, don't do this. Don't do this. It is situational, and it is only good if you want to get a haha moment, or it's like landing a dust in Guilty Gear area way here, right? You can do some bullshit mix. That there is so much bullshit to this character that you can do with this pressure and Oki. But I just don't think it's important for most people at lower levels to learn it. I feel like just you can push yourself to top level with just doing this one Oki. The only time Ken players do this Oki is Axis for some reason, and the other higher level Kens and JP, because they know how to do cool conversions off of it. They can do stuff I can do stuff like this. Let me see. Whoops. Oops, let me make it actually this. Actually, everything block switch and disable. Oops, I'm messing it up. But it's complicated. You gotta actually know what you're doing when you're doing this Oki. I messed it up. Okay, I remember how to do it. It's been a minute, that's why. I can't do that. I'm sorry guys, it's been a minute since I've done this specific Oki. I normally don't do it that often because it's very finicky, as you can see. Normally you can combo into that, but the timing for it... Oh wait, maybe I'm doing the wrong one. Oh, I was doing the wrong one. But you see what I mean? It's very finicky. And it scales your combo pretty bad if you want to do that. But you can do stuff like this, and it's you can learn it when you get to that level, but I just don't see I don't think it's worth it for people at that level to learn it, right? It's only just niche situations. I just don't think people should. If you want to learn it when you get to that level, I'll be happy to teach you guys. That's not an issue. Alright. And I wanted to cover one other thing. I'm trying to remember. Shoot, what was it? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So sometimes I know with Ken, when you do your strings, right, or your combos, sometimes Koromar will be facing parallel with you, right? Let's see if I can replicate it. It's hard to do. It was like that, right? You can just do instant air dash J to do that, or just run up to it, right? Just let the dog meaty them first and then hit them. It's the same thing with your Oki. Just let the dog do the work. Alright, then you're just getting a little bit more corner carry, that's it. Alright? Now I'm trying to see. I feel like there's one more thing about Oki I wanted to mention, but I can't remember off the top of my head. Let me think. Might come back to me. I think that should be it. Yeah, okay. So we can move on to defense. If I remember what I wanted to say about Oki, I'll come back to that's not an issue. Okay. For defense, how am I supposed to defend when I'm Ken? So easy answer is literally just mash 2C, bro. It's like that in neutral. Like I could be blocking all this stuff, and a lot of low-level players might leave very obvious gaps in their pressure because they don't know what to do after it, right? That's where 2C comes in. If they leave a big enough gap, you mash 2C. Oh, I get a combo. You take your space back really easily. So even just on defense, like there's no harm in just sitting back and 2C and trying to block. Do your best to block, right? But it doesn't hurt. Just mash 2C. There's no commitment. Ken can still block. Like, it's just free. That is what beginner Kens should be doing, okay? Level 2, intermediate level Kens, okay? You got some options. You got Thunder Rain if you got 50 meter. Your Shadow Ken, you can do your Awakening Super. That's it. This move is broken, dude. It's huge. It's 7 frames. It catches so much garbage. And it's like not even that bad on the recovery side. It's very hard for people to punish you, right? It's very good. Use sparingly, but it's just so strong. If they leave an open gap and they commit to something, just use this and get big damage. It doesn't hurt. That's only if they leave a gap, though. If they don't, you can always guard cancel, right? So guard canceling. Right, I'm gonna do this. All it is just forward AB. Alright? That's all you gotta do. It's 50 meter. Resets back to neutral. You get a chance to fight back. You know why? Because you got Ken 5B, you got Koromaru 2C. Doesn't hurt, okay? And if they leave a bigger gap, roll is like very specific options. It's safe, but it's more used as a repositioning tool more than like a get out of jail free card, right? For that one, it's just the roll button when you're holding forward when blocking. So I'll show you what I mean. Wait, oops. Wait, what was the? Oh, it was that one. There you go. So if they leave really big gaps, you can roll. You can guard cancel roll and try to punish them. That's it's like specific situations where you know when to roll, right? I can't tell you when to roll each time. It's just something you learn over time. So that's some options you can do. Level 3 is actually the fuzzy jump, okay? So I'll try to keep it brief, but I recommend you watch the LK video. Just search up Lore Knight Persona had a fuzzy jump, and it'll come up on YouTube. Watch that, he explains it. In short, fuzzy jump just allows you to cover some options on your wake up and in defense, right? So all it is just holding down 1 back and then 7 jump. So you're getting a either a super jump or regular jump, doesn't matter. And then you're going back to 1. So what happens is if they're blocking like this, right? Right, if Ken stopped his pressure after 2B, I would have been able to jump out like that, right? So that's why you see my stand block. So Ken stops his pressure here, right? Let's just jump out like that immediately. You can do this on Oki, defense. You can do it mostly everywhere. Basically, it's just used to cover some options. And then you can press throw with it as well to cover some like throw text, right? So you can do stuff like this. Let me show you. So if I do a throw, I can do it here. I can do it here to avoid the throw or even tech the throw if I timed it properly. So, do that. Not sure what I mean. Like there, tech the throw. But this is just a very brief explanation. I recommend just watching the LK video so you actually understand it. But this is what I want to see high level, even some intermediate players doing in their game plan on defense, right? It's very universal. You got to learn it, okay? All right. Now, for high level players, unfortunately, you have to block in this game. You paid $30. I'm sorry, bro. You gotta block. I don't like blocking. It sucks. But you gotta learn. And a lot of that is just from trial and experience. If you're gonna get opened up by some bullshit, it's gonna happen. But as long as you try different options, learn what you can do in the lab, or even asking people, that's what I expect high level players to do. And just like, do your research. I know it fucking sucks, but like if you want to learn, just like hop on the game. You can practice or ask people. Doesn't hurt. That's what I expect. Okay. Then you'll learn when you should be blocking, when you should be rolling, DPing, super, mashing 2C, using guard cancel. It depends on the situation. There's some answers to things. There's some answers in this game where it's like, yeah, you gotta hold that. It's tough, but it's a learning experience at the end of the day. Okay. Let me see what else I got here. So that was defense. Covered Oki, pressure, neutral. Okay, let's go over some shadow versus regular. So if you're just starting out with the game, I recommend just starting out with regular Ken. I think regular character, if you're just playing for fun, just play normal characters, unless you really are interested in the shadow characters. But yeah, shadow characters are strong, and Shadow Ken is especially strong, being a top tier character, in my opinion, top 2. It's best to start out with normal characters to get the grasp on how this character plays, and you don't have to worry about your frenzy, right? So with normal Ken, you have your regular burst that you can use more like either as gold burst or blue burst, right? You're using Ken more defensively. You're saving your burst for when you get to your awakening threshold, then you burst out to get it to awaken, right? So that's what you're going to be doing for Ken. Plus you get your awakening buff. The downside though is that he loses out on his unburstable routes, right? So shadow characters are extremely strong in this game because they can lock out your burst and they completely dominate normal character matchups, right? So like Shadow Ken versus normal Ken, Shadow Ken wins just because Shadow Ken can completely avoid getting the other Ken into awakening, right? They can completely ignore that by popping a frenzy right before. So they avoid that risk. And if that normal character is not in awakening, they lose out on 50 meter, they lose out on their awakening super, they lose out on the defense buff. It just makes it very polarizing when you're fighting a normal character versus shadow, especially in rounds, right? Because round 1, shadow character most likely, if they get the first hit bonus, they get their meter. Especially Shadow Ken, because Shadow Ken gets absurd. He already gets an absurd amount of meter, and shadow characters get a bonus with that. So he's getting a shit ton of meter, broken Oki, he snowballs the game, and then he pops his frenzy, which can be neutral, by the way. I can explain that in a minute. So he pops his frenzy, doesn't even have to win the second round. He can just build his burst back for the third round and then win the entire game. So it's very polarizing on that aspect. But Shadow Ken, like I said, if you want to learn the game, start out with him, get that down. If you're interested in Shadow Ken, you can always try him out because he has very simple routes. They're not that hard. They're very simple to get used to. The only ones that are actually hard is early frenzy if you pop it off like a 2A 2B, right? But other than that, you can end your combo off of the 236 B, right? You can just and your combo right here. Pretend that was a frenzy. You can just pop it right there and dump all your meter, and then you get like a bunch of extra damage. It's very strong. But yeah, those are the main differences. Shadow Ken is the better one, but regular Ken's still strong in this game. It doesn't matter. It just really depends on if you really want to win, play Shadow Ken. That's what I did. Doesn't hurt. All right. Okay. Covered the main bases. There is also a couple of people that you can watch. I really should put in the description, to be honest. I can do it afterward, I guess. It's also pending Ken chat. So there's 4 Japanese players that you should watch for Ken. And that is Rennie Ray, Superboy aka Cho, Nemocon, and Raleigh, right? So all those 4, they stream. Superboy's not anymore. They're all kind of moved on to other things. However, their VODs are still up that you can watch. And they have very solid Kens. They're all really good to watch. They have their own playstyle that distinguishes them. They all do their own combos, their own strings, how they structure their offense. It's all different. So if you want a good idea of how they play, I recommend watching them if you want to learn, because that's how I learned. I just based my game plan off of how they played, and then I adapted my own things into them. All right. So with that, I think that covers most of the bases that I wanted to in this guide. I didn't want to make it extremely long. I know we're already an hour in. I think for the rest of the 15 minutes, I can just show you things that you should learn with Shadow Ken if you do decide to commit to him. So there's a lot of broken aspects to him that it's just like, I really just died off that. So firstly, as I mentioned before, getting your early bursts down is very important. I'll show you how you can just dump your meter really easily. So it's a 2A starter. I do my 236B, Pop Frenzy, DP. Oh, why did I mess that up? What the? Super, DP, Super, Awakening Super. Let's look at the damage. 5.5k, that was a 2A starter. Those are like highly prorated. This character is broken. So you can just dump your meter literally off a 236 BB follow-up, pop your frenzy, they die. Okay, it's really strong. Now for other stuff. Oh, I remember what I wanted to talk about for my Oki. I forgot to mention how to deal with the latex setups. I forgot about that. Okay. So, as I mentioned with the latex setups, right? This is assuming they tech right away, right? Let's assume now they're not going to tech. Okay, so delay tech like that. What do we do? Oops. So you're gonna have to delay your timing a little bit more if they're gonna delay tech. That's why you're still gonna have to. You're always gonna have to delay it anyway. So you're still gonna be fine if Koromaru is still running back to you. Because then you can always just hit him with the J. But if you see them start to delay tech, just time the 236D when they tech, right? me see if I can time it right. Normally, I'm pretty sure. Right. Normally, Koromar should be able to catch them if they delay tech for this long. I'm just trying to time it right. That's weird. So normally, if they actually tech like this, they just delay tech it. You should be able to still safe jump them, no problem. Just might be difficult to time the empty jump blow immediately. Oh wait, no, I know why it's not doing that. It's because I set everything to... Oh my god. Whoops. Hold on. I know why I'm messing. I know why I was getting confused. My bad, guys. Yeah, so it doesn't matter if they delay tech. As long as you delay the 236D, you're fine. I'm sorry. I messed it up. Okay? Now, if they just straight up don't tech at all like this, right? You see how... Wait. You know what I mean? Laying on the ground like that. Narukami does a regular get up instead of flashing white when he techs, right? Here's how you can confirm off of that. Doobie. So instead of doing a 2A, if you can react to them getting hit by it and just press 2B. The issue is that if you do like an air dash, it becomes tricky because it's very hard to combo off of it, right? Because if you're like, I'm gonna do an air dash because I'm gonna try to open them up, and then they delay tech, and you're like, oh shit, okay. Make sure you delay it for Mario as well, because you don't want to be too soon, like how I did right there. You want it to be a red beat combo. Otherwise, if it's a yellow beat, you're gonna have to. It's gonna prorate really hard, and they're gonna get out of your Oki. So you make sure you always delay it by a little bit. See, it's very hard to combo off of. But if you're just doing 2A empty jump, just combo with 2B into your basic air confirms, and you should be fine. That is what I want to cover for Oki. Okay, glad I got that out of the way. Alright, so for Shadowken, as I mentioned before, that's how you dump your meter. If you're doing early frenzy routes, this is how you do them. You're going to be doing it off of first hit of 2B, not the second hit because there's a gap and people can burst it. Mostly people can react after like 2 hits of a move. So if you're doing Oki, you're going to do like this. It's actually, hold on. Let me show you what I mean. Here's how you can kill people off Oki. Oops. But you get the gist of it. You want to get in the habit of popping your frenzy after the first hit of 2B, and you want to lightly tap it, because I'm pretty sure if you like hold it like this, dog's gonna flip. You want to be in a neutral state as well, because if you're holding down a button in a direction, it might screw up a Koromar. But even if like Koromar does do a flip like this, like that, you can still do combos off it, it's fine. But learning this is very important to Ken, because like I said, you want to keep people out of their awakening. So learning this is very integral to Ken's gameplay. And if you want to do some bullshit, match that fucking DP. Wait. There's my options. You can do this. That was a DP. Let's guess how much damage this is. Oh my god, 4K off a DP. And if you do raw Thunder Rain for like a reversal, if you know, a little bit more, and if it's counter hit, a lot more. You can also do this in the corner. Oops. I'm washed. I can't do this. But shout out Ken has some bullshit. Alright? Very good character. And with that, I think that concludes my Ken guide. I'm glad it wasn't too long. I think an hour and 20 minutes is fine for it. I covered everything that I wanted to cover. So I covered neutral, round start options, pressure, Oki, and defense. And just regular and shadow Ken differences. Okay. But yeah, the first thing first is always just to read the Ken doc. This is mainly just for understanding how to do like visually Oki, how to like pressure people. But yeah, that's about it. I can yeah, I'll quickly go over it. So neutral, bam, JB, use your dog, make the dog block, make the opponent block with the dog, and then go in with Ken. That's how it works. If they try to punish it, use your long range normals to punish them. Make sure to keep the dog healthy by using 5D to keep him out of trouble. And if you want, you can use broken techniques such as press 5C and roll. Then you get a full infall move. You can even do 2C roll. That way you can approach for free against some matchups. That's neutral, okay? Each of these, the way you use everything really depends on the matchup. Pressure, please use stagger pressure if you can, but it doesn't hurt if you want to use your 236 A, B, or sweep. It doesn't hurt to use them. Just know when you're plus and when you're not, and know your gaps on when they can DP, roll, or super, right? Because they should be in your blender. You gotta know what you're doing at the end of the day. Oki, please just do this. Please just make your life easier and do the basic Oki mix. It's fucking broken. Just do that. Defense, mash 2C for the fucking life of you. Okay? You'll get better at defending and blocking when you play more people. Know when you gotta use this super wisely, because you don't want to be throwing it out and then eating a fat punish if they know what they're doing. You can guard cancel and then OMC if you want. You can do that if you really want to keep your turn. But guard cancel is generally a good option. Same thing with guard cancel roll. And yeah, that's about it. That's all I got to cover. I hope everyone enjoyed watching this. If you have any questions, you can always just ask me on Discord at Gold, and I'll be in the Persona Fight Club. So yeah, I hope this helps, just giving a visual. Anyway, thank you for watching. Hope you guys have a good one. I'll see you. Bye.